Hi everyone, this is Jen Gross. I'm known as Journey Coach Jen. I am also a design team member for Kindred Stamps, and I am going to show you actually this really cute Loch Ness stamp. Don't Stop Believing. I never look good in photos. Little bow so you can make her a Nessie, and you're my favorite monster. But I thought it would be fun to show you how I color some of my images. I actually like to use TriBlend Markers. They're by Spectrum Noir, and you can see that they come in different colors. They have actually 3 markers in here, which is kind of neat. You've got a light, the next one is a medium, and then you also have a dark as well. And I think this makes it super easy for coloring. So these are TriBlend markers. They're alcohol markers by Spectrum Noir. So I'm going to set those over here. I actually did a color chart kind of showing you the different ways of blending. This one here is just straight color, so this is the light, and I actually did a stippling technique up at the top where you just use little dots of color. The middle is the medium color and the far one is the dark. Now this is blended, so I started off and I did the whole square rectangle area. I either colored it or stippled it the light color. And this is using all 3 colors, so I stippled it all the way through. Then I added the dark color, and then I blended it with the medium color, as you can see there. So you can see just a little bit of a variance with what you're doing with your marker techniques and your colors, whether it's a straight color, adding them right next to each other, or whether it's blending them into each other. So let me grab a seat here and show you how I start out. So the colors that I chose, I've got the citrus green, which is this color right here. I have the alpine green, which is the other green, the top green there. And then I have the bluish one, which is our jade green. So that's going to give us a little bit of blue to it. And I start out with the lightest color, and I believe that that is going to be our citrus. And so what I did is I just kind of started stippling all around. So I'm just going to do the flippers for the first part here and just kind of give you an idea. We're just kind of dabbing the marker, as you can see. And so let's go ahead and then we can take a little bit of the darker and just come up here and kind of shade it a little bit. And this is underneath, so it can have a little bit more. And you can see I'm just dabbing the marker there. So let's go ahead and pull in our alpine green, and I am not going to go with the darkest. I'm actually going to go with the lightest to see where we're at. Okay, so that adds just a little bit of dark to it. Just go ahead and stipple that around. And then I'm going to jump to the medium, and we're going to add that as well. You can see it kind of changes the way it looks just a bit. We're going to go back to our citrus, and I just kind of, actually I'm going to just layer a color right here. And I'm going to start stippling around here as well. We're going to add darker colors as we go along, and we're going to add lighter on top of that. But I really just kind of want to create not an overall color, but just enough to let us see what's going on. So exciting, right? So as you're just gently dabbing the pen tip, and I'm avoiding those little circles that are open because I'm going to color those solid later on. And you can do circular motions, or you can just dab wherever. It's just kind of haphazard as you're doing it. So you can see we got a little bit of the color going on there as well. So let's go back in and go to this alpine green, and we're going to go to the middle one again. Now let's add some shading down here. To the underside of the belly. And then a little bit to the face here. And then over in this area as well. Let's go ahead and take our, we'll start with our jade, but we'll start with the light jade. And we'll come back into the fins again. We'll just add a little more color in this way. See, it's starting to take shape a little bit more. And this is just a real easy way to blend everything a bit. You can always go darker, so I think it's really easy to start with the light to give you what you need as far as the dimensions and everything. Because this will give you kind of like a three-dimensional look. So now we're going to go over a little bit more with the light here. So I think we're going to stipple the entire Loch Ness Monster with the lights, but because you're stippling it, it also gives it kind of like a scale look too, which is kind of cool. So again, just dabbing it wherever. And she's really changing a little bit here as we go along. So let's then go in with our Alpine, and this again is the little bit darker color. It's the medium actually, so it's not the full dark yet. I'm just going to kind of come in around here. And don't make it a straight line, kind of all over. A little more down under here to give it a little more dimension underneath. No light coming through. Let's see here, and then up in here a little bit. Let's go ahead and take, sometimes I like to see, that's the light again. Let's go with, see how dark the dark is. Do I want to use that? Yeah, let's just use a little bit of this dark. So this one, a little bit darker than everything else, but let's use it under here, under the fins, and on the underbelly a little bit. Maybe going up a little bit into the fins. Not a lot of dots, just a few. Okay, let's then grab our jade and let's come in here a little bit with the jade. This will give it a little bit of a bluish tinge. And then I want to take the medium, let's see what the medium, yeah. Let's take the medium a little bit and just kind of a few dots around here. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Oh, let's come down into here. And then let's take our dark citrus and come in here again to these darker areas where we're shading everything. You can see our sea monster's really taking a different shape, a different form, a different look. Now let's go back with all the light colors. So we're going to start with our Alpine green. Again, here's that one. And we're going to come in and we're just kind of going to fill in some of these areas here with the light where you see the white shining through a little bit. Not all of them, because we're going to come back in, and the lightest color we have is this citrine, and so that's what we're going to use to fill in a lot more. So we're going to just come in and just kind of dab a little bit around the area here. Okay, so that's kind of shaping up. So let's take the citrine here and kind of fill in everything else. We just go all over it with this light. Help kind of blend everything in. You can kind of see, look at those flippers as we get to fill in that color. See, it's starting to blend a little more. And again, just dabbing, not very hard, just light. So look at that, you can kind of see that blend happening. It looks kind of cool, doesn't it? So we'll just finish this up. I hope my head's not in the way. I think I've got my camera down a little bit further than that for you guys. Look at that, isn't that cool? Make sure that you've got all that. You can kind of do a swipe. Make sure you've got all those white spaces covered up a little bit. And then let's grab that jade green, and I like, let's see, we're going to take, I think, the medium, and we're going to color in those dots, those little circles. And there we've got it. So that's my coloring of the Kindred Stamps Loch Ness Monster. I'm going to use this in one of my projects. You can kind of see it close up a little bit there. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, here is the swatch. I want to take a look at that one more time. So here's where we did the straight colors. Here is where I've done the blended, and there's the stippling. So this is just stippled straight with the lights, the mediums, and the darks. And this is the light all over, then the medium on top of the light, then the dark on top of the light, and then kind of medium blending it in and the light blending it in right there. So hope you enjoyed this, and you can also check me out on Instagram. It is where I like to post a lot of my creations and my sneak peeks. So thank you for joining me. Again, this is Journey Coach Jen, and I hope you enjoyed this coloring. Happy creating!